for joining me. Today I thought I'd take you along on a little walk that my husband and I took recently to Eski, Datça. The weather was so pleasant on this day, so we decided to pack a sort of picnic with some homemade sandwiches and head over to one of my favorite areas of Datça. My husband requested tomato and cheese sandwiches, which I've come to learn is a fairly common sandwich combo to make in Turkey. I guess I'm used to a sandwich with a little bit more stuff in it, but at least this was easy to make, so I obliged. I've shown bits of Eski Datça in previous videos, but I can't help myself from returning over and over again. I find this to be the absolute most charming part of Datça. Eski in Turkish means old, so this is considered Old Datça, and this area dates back to roughly the 14th century. And besides the nearby village of Rishadiye, this area was one of the first settlements here and served as the administrative center. This quaint neighborhood is located roughly 2 miles from the current downtown seaside area of Datça, so it feels a bit more removed from the bustle of where the city center is. It's located atop a small hill, and although today it may seem more common to establish a city near the sea, back in the day these areas were usually established a bit further out and not necessarily right next to the sea because there was a fear of pirate attacks. This way they could keep a better lookout for invaders and be more protected. Eski Datça is known for its old stone houses and narrow roads. Today it's considered as an urban protected area, which means that there are strict limitations put on the sort of works and changes that can be made here, which I can fully get on board with. I'd hate to see the character of this area lost. My husband especially likes this idea of preservation because he often comments on how there are so many, let's say, ugly buildings being built in Turkey that are multi-story, huge monstrosities with absolutely no character. He even refers to them as mushrooms for their seeming ability to remain small on the bottom but grow wider as they get taller. Luckily, you won't find that here in Eski Datça, and hopefully never will. The main area of Eski Datça features a variety of restaurants, bars, cafes, and shops. At this time of year, the peak tourism season is over until next summer, so I noticed that a lot of places have closed for the season, and I'm not sure how many will remain open all year round, so I'll have to keep checking back on that. While people do still live in these old stone houses, I noticed that many of the buildings have been turned into small boutique hotels, and I haven't had a chance to stay at any of them here in Eski Datça, but some, from the looks of the outside at least, appear to be quite charming. buildings and stone fences along these narrow roads are bursting with colorful plants, especially that of bougainvillea. I suppose by November I'm not used to seeing such intense colors and flowers, but it sure is nice. You'll probably notice an abundance of cats in Eski Datça. Of course, street cats are plentiful throughout Turkey, but especially on this day it seemed. There were just too many to count. You'll often see old, empty yogurt containers next to shop fronts and restaurants, filled with water for them and table scraps and cat food always being provided, so they are well looked after. It seems that locals and tourists alike enjoy the company of these furry creatures. Even when we sat down at a bench to enjoy our sandwiches for lunch, we were greeted by a small swarm of cats, waiting patiently for some treats. Taking a stroll around Eski Datça at this time of year was so enjoyable. We walked around on a Saturday and there were very few people out. Of course, summertime is noticeably busier here with both domestic and foreign tourists, but the nice thing about Datça in some ways is its remoteness. The nearest city is Marmaris, which is still an hour drive away through the winding mountainous roads of this peninsula, which I think helps to protect it slightly from the over-tourism that other Mediterranean and Aegean hotspots attract. But the weather this time of year has still been in the high 70s most days and sunny, so you really couldn't ask for a better time to be here. I actually much prefer this to the heat of the summer anyway. I also wanted to share a few snippets from the Republic Day festivities. October 29th is always a special holiday in Turkey, much like the 4th of July in the US, but this year marked 100 years of the Turkish Republic, so it was extra special for many Turks. There are normally Turkish flags displayed all over, but this holiday it was even more evident. Flags featuring the face of Ataturk are also displayed, and Ataturk was the founder of the Republic and is credited with giving the country its secular values. Republic Days in Turkey usually feature festivities for children, various governmental ceremonies, and most evenings feature a parade. We checked out the parade that took place in Datça. Of course, Datça is a smaller town, so what you see here is nothing like you'd see in larger cities in Turkey, but mostly people walk together down the main street with their little Turkish flags, and some with their Ataturk apparel, and often music is played and songs are sung. The parade in Datça ended by the public amphitheater downtown where there was a concert that was going to take place. Unfortunately, the venue was about 10 times too small for the amount of people, so we didn't get to see any of it, but it was still interesting to observe the festivities. I hope you enjoyed this little look into life here in Datça. If you'd like to see more from my perspective as an American living in Turkey, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. I'd really appreciate it. Until next time, thanks!